identify yourself and just keep your comments to 3 minutes. Thanks, Jim Kuhn, 41 Oswego Avenue. I want to thank you all for taking these issues up this evening. These are important issues. The work you do on a day-to-day basis on our behalf is very important as well, and I understand this is a very busy time in your budget deliberation, so I do want to thank you for that. I also want to thank Councilmember Snipper for his years of service. I'd like to encourage folks who are in the audience here tonight supporting these resolutions to stand just as a show of support. I'm here tonight to speak to the National Defense Authorization Act resolution before you. By now you've heard from many of us about this in testimony directed at why the issue is of local importance, how this resolution is in harmony with existing city ordinances, and why Takoma Park action would actually help affect positive change. We've collected close to 200 petition signatures from Takoma Park residents, and we've more for you tonight for a current total of 194, including the signature of State Senator Raskin. All right, pass that along. Some of you, thank you Seth, thank you Kay, came to a well-attended forum sponsored by the Montgomery County Civil Rights Coalition, including expert testimony on these issues from the National Security Network and the Bill of Rights Defense Committee. In case it wasn't already clear, last week's events have brought home the importance and timeliness of tonight's vote. Although Representatives Edwards and Van Hollen did vote last week in support of the Smith-Amash amendment to the 2013 NDAA, the House on Friday not only rejected that provision to reform the indefinite detention provisions, but in fact the majority voted to make these provisions even more noxious. Meanwhile, as we've already heard, the New York Times and Post provided next to no coverage of a significant development that a federal judge last week struck down and issued an injunction against enforcement of the NDAA indefinite detention provisions as violation of First and Fifth Amendments. In other words, a local vote tonight comes at a very opportune moment in the national debate. So let me focus my comments on, again, on why elected officials at Takoma Park, or for that matter, any local jurisdiction, should be acting on this federal matter. One reason worth emphasizing: tonight's actions are clearly delineated in this city's charter, describing the powers of our elected council. And here I'm going to quote from section 401B25. The legislative powers of the council shall include, but are not limited to, the following: legislation, to sponsor, promote, and otherwise advance legislation at any level, including county, state, and federal, and to expend funds and resources for the same. In other words, what we are doing tonight is very much, without question, part of the job of an elected Takoma Park City Councilor or Mayor. Our persistence in coming to you with these questions and our presence here tonight should help indicate that this is also an important part of why we have elected you into the positions and the offices that you now hold. So this is an important issue. Now is an important time to act, and deliberations such as tonight's on federal legislation are in fact part of council's duties. So let's talk just for a minute, please indulge me for just one more minute, about why it would in fact be helpful in affecting positive change at the federal level for Takoma Park to pass a resolution opposing the indefinite detention provisions of the NDAA. We're not just your neighbors here. We're not just your constituents. We are in fact part of a national movement, one that transcends partisan politics, partisan divides. It unites concerns of Republicans, of Democrats, of Greens, of Tea Partiers, of occupiers. The actions that we hope Takoma Park will take tonight will add a powerful progressive voice to the growing nonpartisan chorus of support for the rule of law in promoting and protecting fundamental rights and civil liberties, even, and I would say especially, during times of war. So I would like to end by just reminding you of the importance for local elected officials to take strong actions in support of rights and liberties. Not just when it is easy, not only when your words and actions echo majority sentiments at state and federal levels, but most importantly, your role is critical at moments like this, when rights of due process are actively being stripped away by federal governmental authorities. So please vote in favor of this local resolution opposing indefinite detention provisions of the National Defense Authorization Act.